Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I wanted to put up a video today about what we saw with the procession and the royals. First, thank you to everyone that complimented me on my sweater. Thought I'd wear it again. It's my favorite sweater. I wear it almost every day. And my daughter bought it for me. And I'm glad you liked it. So it gives me permission to wear it again, I guess, because it's really my comfort. And I think I need a lot of comfort right now because there's so much controversy going on, especially the things that I'm seeing in the Black community around the death of the Queen. And the reason why is because there's this opposition to the Queen in the Black community in America about the death of the Queen. And I want to thank you to everyone who has reached out to me in email, especially a few women from the Black community within the United Kingdom, wanting to give me history and information about, what it's like being a Black person in the UK. And I welcome that. I'm open to that. And I really appreciate that information because when I was living in the UK, it was different than the American community. It was nothing like what it is here in the States. I really do welcome that. Speaking points in the Black community here. Certain radio stations and things that I listen to because I just listen to it because they have good topics, but they all seem to be on the same narrative around the royal family and colonialism. And I did a video on this, my last video. If you haven't seen it, please watch it because I talk about how there is this history of slavery and bad things that have happened to people. These are things that happened around the world. And I can assure you, if the roles were reversed and Black people were heading up colonialism and they came and did a bunch of things to white-looking people in their countries, that has happened in modern day, but let's say it happened back then, they would do the same thing because this is what people did. This is how people made money. And at the time, even now today, it's about money. It's not about doing the right thing. It's not about looking at people as being human. It's about people trying to make their money. And they were doing this back then. So the white people did it, the Black people did it, everybody did it. But the reality is it's not happening today. Okay, there are a lot of atrocities that are happening within other governments. But we are honing in and talking about this as Black people because look what they did to my people. We are talking about what has happened to people in generations, but yet every day there are Black people killing Black people on the streets today. Who's speaking about that? Oh, they want to talk about what this Queen represent and what her people, her government represent today. When these are things that happened years ago. But they're not addressing the Black on Black crime, the disparity amongst Black people today, because they always want a victim. They want to blame it on somebody, but they don't want to look to themselves as being responsible for doing the right thing and for improving and bettering your lives. And I despise this. And this is why I work so hard with my nonprofit, because I want to empower Black people. I don't want them to look at themselves as being victims. Because we're going to always have people, we're going to always have these wackadoos, we're going to always have people that are going to try to do wrong by you. Because of your race, the color of your skin, they're just going to do that. So why harp on that? Why just try to make your lives better, be a better person? And let's stop blaming people. Because these are things that have happened and they are not pretty, but everybody did it. It happened to a lot of people, and I just hate when they do this on these radio stations. So I want you to listen to a little soundbite of what was spoken about in terms of colonialism and what the Queen represents. This was on the radio station a couple of days ago. Listen to this.
Cloud of colonialism hangs over Queen Elizabeth's legacy in Africa. All the Black anchors on all of the networks, with maybe, and certainly with the exception of the Root Witcham, the death of Queen Elizabeth II has prompted an outpouring of reflection and reaction online. But not all was grief. Some young Africans instead are sharing images and stories of their own elders who endured a brutal period of British colonial history during the Queen's long regime. Kenya, which has been under British rule since 1895, was named an official colony in 1920 and remained that way until it won and had to fight for its independence in 1963. Among the worst atrocities under British rule occurred during the Mau Mau uprising.
Okay, so that was just a little snapshot of what they're speaking on, and other stations are doing it as well. Why can't we respect that the Queen was a big proponent of decolonization? Why can't we respect the things that the Queen has done to empower these governments, and how they're open to becoming their own republics? I know Barbados has done it. It's happening when it happens. Okay, do what you do. You have to stop harping on the bad that was once the thing that people did and countries and governments did, and look forward and move forward. And this is why what Meghan has done is so horrible, because she has brought this narrative into the mainstream. She has brought it in with her victimization into the royal family. And now the Black community is looking at what they have done to Meghan Markle and the royal family. And I know we want to blame monarchy on them letting Harry and Meghan do what they do. Well, I'll tell you why they're allowing them to do the things that are so wrong. Because if they make a misstep, they're going to be looked at as racist. They're going to be looked at as the racist behavior that Meghan spoke about. So they're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt constantly. And they're stuck between a rock and a hard spot, because I say also, put your foot down, make a smackdown, don't do this. But then if they do, she'll run with that and make it a very racial reason why the monarchy has done these negative things towards them, because most people won't see that their behavior has caused it, not racism. That's a discussion still to be had. But I want to let you know that I phoned in on a radio station, the guy you just heard in this little clip, and I spoke to him about Meghan, and I got to go head to head with him about my views. Do you think he let me speak? Do you think he allowed me to say anything that he didn't want to hear? You have to wait and find out. I will have that in an upcoming video. But in the meantime, I do want to address this holding hands bit, which is another thing that should not have been allowed, but maybe they were allowed to do it. Maybe they went against what they were allowed and just did it anyway. But it's so disrespectful to, in this time of tradition and pageantry, to hold hands is a sign of disrespect. I feel like you are mocking the Queen in this moment. But do you think Black people in America are going to see that? No, they're going to be like, oh, now you're so nice. They hold hands. Oh, I just love that Meghan Markle. Right? That's what they'll say. But they won't see it as a sign of disrespect. And this is how I know it's something that is just the narrative, even with people that I know. Because in the beginning, when I talked to a very good friend of mine about the things that Meghan was doing around the traditions and the monarch, about, not wanting to dress in code, well, dress in the way that was preferred by the Queen, wearing stockings, wearing a hat. And she kind of played it off like, well, what, you just making these videos about her because what, she didn't wear no stockings? Or she didn't wear a hat? Is that what the problem is? No. It doesn't come down to that simplicity, the way she tried to characterize it. But it does come down to her not wanting to adhere to the respect and traditions of the culture in which she married into. That's what she did that is so wrong. Because once again, if you allow people that say this thing about Meghan and to say that this is something that is not a big deal, well, let me see someone come into your home and disrespect you and your traditions. For example, a lot of people don't want shoes worn in their homes. If someone came into your home and refused to take off their shoes because they don't like wearing no shoes within a house, they like wearing shoes, but you do not allow it in your home, you're not going to like that. Even as simple as that is disrespectful. And this is essentially what my friend was saying to me, that it was okay for Meghan to disrespect the traditions and values of the royal family. That's not a big deal, she thinks. But I say it is a big deal, because you have to respect people and their cultures, because we would want the same respect given to us. As simple as people try to make this seem like it's not a big deal, what Meghan is doing, them holding hands is not a big deal. It is a big deal. And it's wrong for Meghan and Harry to be holding hands in this moment. It's completely inappropriate, and it takes away the focus of the Queen, and it draws attention to you being the only wackadoos holding hands during this procession. It is wrong, and you should not be doing it. Understanding of other people's cultures than what yours is. You are in a foreign country. You are in a foreign culture. You need to adhere to what they are telling you is what they do, not hold to what you want to do, because she can't do the right thing. But the thing that gives me comfort is that in the work that I do, I work every day to help young people understand cultures and understand globally your footprint in the world is not going to be what you're used to. It's going to be what you do in another person's country. And this is education. This is understanding the value of cultures and knowing that there's just a certain thing you do when we cross into another person's lifestyle of tradition and cultures and all of that, because we would, like I said, want the same for ourselves. It's appalling that Harry and Meghan go against the things that they know they should not be doing. But at the same time, I see the royals allowing it because they'll be called out as racist for having any kind of look of hate or not letting them do something. They're going to be called out as racist. Now, I do applaud them for not letting Harry and Andrew, for that matter, wear their military uniforms. That's the rule. You're no longer working royals. You're not allowed to do these things. And I think what calmed it down for people to not single them out as being racist towards Harry and his wife for not allowing Harry to wear his uniform is because they made Andrew do it as well. And that was the smart thing to do, because I heard before they were going to allow Andrew to wear his uniform and not Harry, and that would have been a wrong move. They're both not working royals. They both should not be allowed to wear their uniforms. So I'm glad they made it apply to both of them. We'll have to wait and see, you guys. It's ugly, it's nasty, and it's shameful. It's completely wrong.